Good afternoon to all our viewers, and thank you for tuning in today for our conversation about the future of online education. Please remember to put your questions in the comments section and we will address them towards the end of our chat today. I'm joined by Ms. Litseoane Mokaloba, who is the founder of Thuto Tutorials and is a certified English language and literature teacher at the high school level. She pursued her bachelor's degree in education from the National University of Lesotho in 2015 and started tutoring in 2016. Her passion is working as a language tutor with learners with special needs in partnership with NGOs across the country. Ms. Litseoane, we welcome you today and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nme, for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. May you please share with our viewers a little bit more about your journey in education from the National University of Lesotho and what has been some of your most significant experiences in this journey?
Okay, so I graduated from the National University of Lesotho in 2015 and I started tutoring in 2016. I tutored from my home, my parents' house, from early January 2016 until maybe late in 2016 when I got an offer to tutor at one of the local high schools in my community. I tutored there for a couple of months. Then in 2017, I started tutoring at one of the prominent NGOs in Maseru. And I tutored there from 2017 until early this year when I moved here to this organization that I'm working for right now. So I've been here with them since April.
Okay.
And
What has okay. Continue.
Okay, so the highlight of my career would be actually coming here to work here where I currently work right now. It has been like a great experience. It has been a significant shift in my career. It's something I've always wanted to do. The caliber of children I work here is exactly the kind of children I've always wanted to impact their lives and make a significant change in their lives.
That's amazing.
So, I actually get to impact their lives both as children and as learners. So it's actually beautiful.
That's amazing. That's really good to hear. And congratulations on all the opportunities you have been able to create for yourself and the opportunities that came as a result of your hard work. I remember the reason it was so easy to think of you for this chat was because I remember you coming to the American Corner for literally almost all of our programs. And I was like, oh my God, the dedication, and the commitment to continuously empower yourself and to improve your skills for me is what stood out about you. And so congratulations on all the milestones you have been able to achieve so far. Why did you choose to particularly focus on English? Does your program cover other subject areas?
Okay, I chose English because from like a very early education stage, I've always loved English language. And when I got to high school, I got to really, really fall in love with the language. I would help other students who were struggling with both English language and literature in English. I was very good at both those subjects. Plus, I had like the perfect teachers who mentored me and like kind of made me fall in love with this language. So when I got to university, the choice was simple. I was going to be a language teacher. So it wasn't really that difficult.
Yeah, they say English teachers are the best. They're the ones that change your lives. So on the subject of online education, it's a fascinating field. And now with the restrictions with COVID-19, why did you feel it was important to establish a program that could facilitate continuous learning even through these unprecedented times?
Okay, so I realized that most students were off school, right? Because of the lockdowns, and sometimes students would go to school during shifts and their education suffering. And then I also realized that these students, when they are at home, they have a lot of access to the internet. They have a
Yes.
lot of access to technological equipment. They have phones, they have tablets. So I was like, okay, let's keep education alive. We have to keep education alive. And the only way we are going to do that is to merge both technology and education. Yeah, so I felt that, okay, we're going to teach these students through these phones that they're always on.
Do you have particular, do you use WhatsApp? Do you have a particular platform that you favor when you're doing your online education with students?
Okay, we're using Zoom.
Okay.
We are using Zoom because while we have a lot of international students, so we also use WhatsApp for students here at home, and we felt that Zoom is kind of expensive, so the data is expensive. So we felt that we needed to accommodate all learners. So WhatsApp is kind of cheaper, so it will allow even students who are less fortunate to at least be able to access the visuals that will be sent.
It's incredible what you're doing. I hope you do not take it for granted. It's a very, very, very big thing, because as you're saying, education is literally like the core of any nation. Like if we want to develop, we have to make sure that not just young people, but even across all sectors, that people continue to get educated. And I just wanted to press it upon you that this is a very innovative thing that you're doing, and that you should pat yourself in the back because this is really, really, really impressive what you have been able to achieve. In terms of outreach and the students that you work with, actually, before we move to that, can I ask you, what type of support have you felt you needed in order to be successful, and what more support do you think you need moving forward?
Okay, the support that we felt that we needed most is the support of actually having students. We are actually trying to get students. Mainly because tutoring hasn't been widespread in our country. Parents are still getting eased into tutoring. They're still getting to trust tutors with their children. They're still getting to trust that tutoring is actually another form of education. So we're still trying to get students, and the support that we feel like we could get was actually having parents enroll their children with us. And other support is advertisement. We feel that I'm advertising the program on my social media platforms. I got LinkedIn, I've got Twitter, I've got Instagram. So I'm advertising there. But then I feel like if I could have like a broader platform where I could advertise, like radio, we'll be able to at least have more people have a bigger wide range.
Okay, so what is it that you want parents to know, or parents or siblings or even students themselves? What is it that you want them to know about the work that you do?
Okay, I'd like them to know that tutoring is very, very important. Even for a student who's already enrolled at a conventional school, like a mainstream school, tutoring is very, very important, because the kind of attention that we give our learners is very different from the kind of attention that a child would get at a mainstream school. Like in Lesotho here, it's like a known fact that, especially in government schools, one teacher teaches like a class of maybe 50 and above students. Such a teacher, realistically, we cannot expect such a teacher to be able to impact each and every learner. That those learners who are going to like kind of camouflage among others. So with tutoring, it's one-on-one, a tutor and a child. So this tutor actually gives the child all the attention. He or she is able to attend to all the child's needs. So I'd like the parents to understand that even if your child is still going to school, that child still needs a tutor. Somebody who's going to see all the gaps, who's going to pay attention to all the gaps.
Yeah, this is true because I remember, I don't know if you're also aware, when the very first COVID restrictions hit, parents were losing it on social media. They were saying schools are closed. Now I have to be a worker. I have to be a mother. In addition, I have to be a teacher, and I'm not trained to be a teacher. And I think also with now, you know, with the restrictions being eased up a little bit, yes, students are rotating, you know, some are going on certain days and the others on other days, but you still need to keep students engaged, because if they're not busy with schoolwork, what is it that they're doing? You know, I think this is where the conversations on drugs and stuff like that now becomes an issue, to say they have so much time. I think the value that a parent can bring for their child is to say, okay, in the days that you're not going to school, let me get you a tutor so you can continuously engage in the material, you know, from school, and also get a different perception of the stuff that you're learning from school will be different from the stuff that you're learning from a tutor, but ultimately it all contributes to a student's success. So I think what the service that you provide is very, very valuable. And I hope that as we have these conversations, more parents, more guardians will be able to see that, you know, this is something that is of such value. In terms of outreach and the students that you work with, can you help us understand their profiles a little bit more? Are they in the rural or urban areas, or is it a mix of both? As I understand, some of the students that you work with are students with special needs.
Well, we have a variety of students. We have a student here in Lesotho. She's a grade 12 learner. She is studying geography with one of our tutors. We have a student in Cape Town who's studying English language as a second language with one of our tutors. We have a student in Kenya, grade 4. She's also studying English as a second language. We have a student, we have a student in the Dominican Republic who's also studying English as a second language, and we got 3 in the USA. So I think we have, most of the students that we have are studying English as a second language, especially the international students.
Okay. So you guys are global. Like, you're not
you
are a global program.
Yeah, we are.
That is really impressive. I know that one of the other things that American spaces in other countries really focus a lot on is English learning. They have, I think, courses with the University of Pennsylvania where it's a sponsored program. They have, I think, one in English for journalism, but you apply for it and you can get a scholarship for it, and you do the course, and then when you're done, you get the certificate from the University of Pennsylvania. Because as you're saying, not everybody speaks English. You know, people that are from French-speaking countries, people that are from, you know, Asia, you know, require these skills that you have. And I think it is so impressive that you've been able to get not just, you know, students in Lesotho, not just students in Africa, but like you across, you know, across continents. That is really impressive.
We need the students in Lesotho. This is home. So
yeah,
if ever we are going to make a change, if ever we are going to make, like, grow big and be big, we have to start here at home.
This is true. And I think once Basotho parents and Basotho guardians and other teachers notice that, okay, you're teaching students in Cape Town and you're teaching students in Kenya, I think for them that's like, okay, let me sign my child up, right? Because I mean, there's no excuse why their children are not in this program when there's kids, you know, in other countries that are benefiting from your program.
And we are right here.
Yeah. So in terms of availability of resources, what has your experience been like in terms of students' access to technological tools that enable them to engage in online learning? You touched up a little bit on it in terms of differences in data usage between Zoom and WhatsApp. But yeah, what have you seen as, sort of the trend in terms of students having access to technological tools?
Well, like I already mentioned that most of our students right now are international students. We only have like about 2 students who are here in Lesotho. So we are not actually struggling with them having access to technology.
Okay.
They have laptops, they have tablets, they have cell phones. But from our side, we've been struggling with the network, like especially in bad weathers. We struggle with the network. So we're not actually experiencing any trouble with students' access to technology. But
It's
that's
more.
something. Okay.
Yes, you were
I
saying
was
that's
saying
something.
that's something we are anticipating because we are like in a third world country and we are like one of the poorest. So things
Yeah.
such as things such as remote learning and everything are going to require equipment which is very advanced, smartphones, and that's something that we are anticipating that not every learner or every household is going to have access to.
I think this part right here, I think might be like the most important part of our conversation, because I think one of the misconceptions is that if you want an online tutor, now we're going to be asking parents for tablets. We're going to be asking parents to buy their children computers. And maybe another parent is thinking, actually, now I can't engage because now I'm not going to be buying this child who's in grade 5 a computer or a tablet. And I think it's important for parents to understand that your child can learn the thing that they go to school, like physically in person, that they go to school for every single day. They can learn the very same thing through WhatsApp, because WhatsApp requires a phone, right? It means if you have a phone, your child can engage in online education. You don't necessarily now need to go buy a tablet. Sure, it may be more convenient to have a tablet. It may be more convenient to have, an actual laptop or a desktop so you can download and upload files. But a mere phone is enough, right? If you use, it's enough for students to engage. So I think maybe as you also try to reach out to parents here in Lesotho that may be getting discouraged for their child to engage in online training, it's to help them understand what that setup looks like. To say, me, una le WhatsApp, WhatsApp. Hi, una le WhatsApp, it means this child can learn. All you have to do is enroll your child in the program, and then so I think.
And the parent can also actually supervise whatever is going on the phone.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think maybe a change in how we perceive, because how online education, online tutoring, like, oh, so now we're going to be using Canvas. We now need people to actually, know these different platforms. In classroom, we're in Google Classroom. And maybe people are like, that technology is too much. I don't even want to get involved. But once you say WhatsApp, man, how many people have access to WhatsApp?
WhatsApp is actually really enough. God.
It is. It really is. And I think it's with technology and getting, a wider spread of information to people, that becomes another important part of your message, right? So if you're saying you're struggling with getting about to sign their kids up, I think that might be an important part of your message, to say it's not that complicated to get your children enrolled in these programs, right? So in your opinion and experience, would you say online learning is necessary in Lesotho? How so now COVID, beyond the restrictions of COVID, And how far are we as a country in ensuring learners have access to education?
Okay, so let's first start by differentiating between the two. We have online learning and we have remote emergency learning.
Okay.
So right now, what is happening in Lesotho, or what our program is doing, is remote emergency learning.
Okay.
While online learning is whereby the curriculum itself is designed to be specifically offered online. So with our program and with what has been happening in some schools here in Lesotho is remote emergency learning. This is where we are using technological devices to aid learning. We are bridging, we are bridging whatever gaps we have in our classrooms with technology. We are using devices, we are using such as phones, we are using videos, we are using pre-recorded lessons to aid student learning. So online learning, well, I think it's when you're talking about like the schools that recently opened in Cape Town, from like a branch of the University of Cape Town. That's the high school. They opened a high school which offers high school education, strictly
Yes, I saw the
online.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when you're talking about online learning. Yeah.
So what are some of your, so you're saying you have some international students, you have a couple of students that are from Lesotho. What's your dream for your program? What would you like to see happen in the next, 2 years? What does progress look like for you, for you, the people that you work with, and for your entire program?
Okay, so let me first start by describing the kind of tutors I have. So I have tutors who are completely unemployed. They are unemployed teachers. They were literally doing nothing before we started this program. So what I was doing was kind of try to aid unemployment in Lesotho. We got youth who are actually not doing anything. They are certified teachers like the ones I have. So the dream that I have is to actually see this program helping teachers and giving them hope that, well, as a teacher, your journey doesn't end in a classroom in some government school. Okay, you can actually kind of try other avenues with your learning and with your knowledge. And I also dream to see this program growing and actually offering lessons for free. That's what I want. I want to push this program to a point where we are so financially stable that we actually offer our services for free to, well, we got vulnerable children in our classrooms, in our mainstream classrooms. These are students who are unable to even focus in a class. They fall behind because, not because they got like learning disabilities or anything, but because they've got so much going on in their lives that they can hardly concentrate in a classroom.
Yay.
So my main dream is to see this program as that kind of safe haven whereby schools can kind of suggest such students to come to the program so that we can help them and actually give them the attention that they are not getting in the mainstream schools. Okay. So I actually want it to be free at some point.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I know a way the American Corner can assist, because we have had a program for educators, which was training on the platform Canvas. So what we essentially did was we had 15 participants coming to the American Corner. They had access to the internet, and we basically spend 2 days going through the platform, yeah, Canvas. So Canvas is an online learning platform. It's a learning management system. So re ba ruta hore, okay, how do you upload, documents? How do you add students onto create a classroom? So ra ruta, how do you create a classroom? How do you add students into that classroom? And once you get a sense of how Canvas works, then you get a sense of how Moodle works. And then now you can use different learning management systems, because in as much as right now, as you were saying, for emergency to bridge, what the little gaps that exist in education currently, I think what we all collectively need to be preparing ourselves for is for a place where we can say Lesotho Sinale High School online, that's fully online, as you noted, right? That would be amazing. And in order to get there, we need to have educators that are enabled, that have been trained to use these different learning management systems. On top of that, we use surveys to collect from the teachers to see what is it about this system that works? Do you think it works in the context of Lesotho? What would you change about this learning management system in order to make your tutoring easier, right? So that's research, right? That's the contributing to a body of research, because then you can analyze this data and say, okay, Canvas is a US-based platform. It was created in the US. It works like this in the US, but in the context, it would work best for us. So this is something that we can maybe take 3 of your teachers and bring them to the American corner and do that training with them, because I think the work that you're doing is extremely, extremely important for the time in which we're living in. But also, we need educators to be fully equipped in the next 5 to 10 years, when we're now thinking of building fully, online operating school. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you're most welcome, and we'll talk more about it after the chat, but I am excited that we will be able to do this with you. Is the government doing enough for students in Lesotho? And what more do you think is needed in order to facilitate the process of online learning across the country?
Well, with the government, I would say I cannot really say it's doing enough, but like the entire globe is actually struggling with shifting the traditional modes of learning, which is from the classroom, to incorporating technology. So I would say they are trying, because I've seen stripes whereby we got 0 rating of academic website.
Yes.
That was really, really wonderful. We got the Ministry of Education recently launched network infrastructure at 2 of our higher learning institutions. That was like last month. Whereby students and the staff access internet for free. That's something to comment on. That is
that's
great.
wonderful.
So there's been like improvement in the network coverage. That's something to say. At least they are trying. We are all trying. Everybody's trying.
Because I remember one of the continue.
Oh, also I've seen that the Ministry of Science and Technology has also distributed laptops, which is great. So I think that we are all trying. We cannot say it's enough. Like you're saying, the journey ahead is still very long. To get us to a point where we are saying our educators and our learners are fully ready to use online learning or remote learning.
But I think those are wonderful steps that you're mentioning. And I mean, they should keep us motivated to say, okay, at least there's some progress happening in that space. Because I do remember that one of the issues with online education in the beginning, from the first, the restriction was so who's going to pay for this data? Like, you students, okay, they have access to this platform, but where are they going to get the money to access this data? So when you mention zero rating, it's like, it's such an important part of the process that can be facilitated by the government and it's specifically the Lesotho Communications Authority to say, okay, these platforms should be zero rated. And I think the other thing that I noticed, I don't know what you think about this, was that online education right now has been focused, which is where I really see the value of what you're doing, is that online education has focused a lot on higher learning institutions. But high school students and primary school students are experiencing the very, very, very same hardships and restrictions as higher learning, institutions, and they still also have the very same right, right, to education.
They do.
Yeah. So
And
when
they are like,
yeah, continue.
I was saying what we are doing in high school and in primary, we are grooming them and expecting them to go to the same universities and excel. So we have to groom them to use technology from an early age.
I remember when I was walking down the street, I was from work and I was walking past the bookshop, and there were 3 students there. I won't say the name of the institution, but they called me and I was like, okay, hi, hello. And the other lady is like, can you please help me? And I said, help you with what? She said, I'm trying to submit an assignment on Moodle and I don't know what to do. Like, and I thought, this is a higher learning institution, right? They have students that they're teaching online and students still don't know how to access Moodle. She had the physical, paper of her work, but she didn't know, okay, so okay, submit give me the deadline by a few hours. So now ke submit and I literally had to sit down there with her. She even took my number. She texted me later to say, can you please train me and my friends on how to use the thing? So I think the value is not only in teaching actual subjects, right? Like, okay, English and geography, but in also teaching how to use these platforms, because that's a learning process that has to take place to get us to a point where people can actually, now fully engage in online learning.
Especially because now we want them to study remotely, right? Like I said, we are doing remote learning. So if you're giving a student a task and a platform to submit the task and not providing the necessary education on the house of that, that's like insufficient.
How is it all going to work? So I think this is, it's very valuable what you guys are doing. And I think also having a conversation about the type of support that you need in order to get to where you want to go. I think it was very important when you mentioned tabaya unemployment, because we know how we learn into education, the likelihood of, okay, but like, I feel like educators are like they play such an important role in our society. Like, there should be opportunities waiting for educators. And I think that with your success now and in the coming years, like, it's important for you to succeed. Basically.
It's not just me. I got people behind me.
A whole community.
A whole community. So my success is their success.
Hey. So are all your teachers based in Maseru, or do you have teachers that are based in other districts?
Mostly my tutors are based in Maseru. We have about 2 in Liribe, but that's it. So we are still looking to have other tutors in like all the districts of Lesotho, so that if maybe we get maybe a parent who says, well, my child is in Simongo, but I need this child to access your services. I should have someone in Simongo who will be able to both tutor this child online and be able to go to this child physically, because the physical interaction between the tutor and the child is also very important.
This
As
is
much
true.
as we are doing remote learning, these two people have to connect at a personal level. They need to understand each other. They need to know that this is not just my phone. I'm not just talking to my phone. I'm talking to
Yes,
this
an actual
person.
human being.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm
So
talking
are
to
you
this
open to
person.
taking more teachers now in different districts? Like if someone was in Tabatek and was like, hey, look, I'm a teacher, I'm a good teacher and I'm interested, can they reach out to you and say, hey, you know?
Well, since we still have very few students, I can't say I'm willing to take more teachers. But once we have like a bigger enrollment, I'll be more than willing to have other teachers.
Can I give you a tip though?
All right.
So if you get a teacher in Simongo, right, and you get a teacher in Tabatek, that very same teacher can help you get students.
Yeah, they can.
Those areas, right?
They can.
So now I would say, get the teachers. Get the teachers. If someone in Mokotlong says, hey, Litseoane, please, can you please put me on this program? Okay, the student.
Okay, in all honesty, since I'm working with unemployed teachers, it
Mm.
gets tiring for them to actually have this excitement, have them like interviewed and everything, and they think that we took that right away, but then they have to wait for it.
Yeah, yeah,
They wait
yeah.
for weeks and
So
they
they would
choose
have
to.
to be super self-driven.
Yeah, so that's why I said I cannot actually take more teachers now because I don't have students for them. But once the students start coming in, I'll be able to say, okay, I have a learner in Smogo and maybe advertise such a post.
That
Plus,
makes a
but
sense.
plus
Do you
it's
have
also not,
sorry, continue.
but when you are speaking financially, it's not like they're not going to be able to improve financially because our charges are not in such a way that you can actually say you are employed. It's more like a volunteering program for them to actually get the experience that is needed. Some of them have only gone as far as graduating from the university now or the sort of college of education. They are trained teachers. There's a difference between a teacher and a tutor.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I'm saying. Yeah, there is a difference.
I
Yeah.
see.
So they are trained teachers, but they are not tutors.
I see what you mean. I see what you
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
So,
So
mm-hmm.
yeah. So I still have to train them to about tutoring, give them the ins and outs of tutoring. So I wouldn't say I'll take more teachers right now.
Currently, but I think it'll be fascinating once you start getting into those different districts. The districts but you know, and it's
That's
like now
right.
it's
Yeah.
really fascinating.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. So like you mentioned that we need like the support, like we need gadgets, like we are using technology, right? We're struggling with data, we are struggling with laptops, tablets, and we are also we are actually renting a place right now at Halikele, and we are hoping that if we could get like a fixed location where we could say we can have students who are actually coming to this place, to this
that
program. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
So aside from the tutors that actually train the kids, do you have like support staff? Do you have somebody that does your marketing and who tries to get you you know, the clients, or what's your structure like?
Okay, that I'm the only one doing that. That's me. That's I'm
Okay.
marketing. I'm managing the program. But I have a friend, Rose Maleme. She's also a professional teacher. She's the one who's leading the online tutoring. She's the one who's helping all the other teachers, kind of teaching them how to operate online learning platforms and stuff. So I'm the one marketing the program. I market it on my social media profiles since I have like I would say a reasonable amount of followers on Twitter,
Yeah,
Instagram,
I
and
know your followers.
I've been blessed. So I'm the one who has like a wider number of followers. So yeah, so I'm actually doing all that. But I also encourage them also. I keep encouraging them. Post this ad on your WhatsApp. Ask your friends to post on their WhatsApp too. Post on Facebook. We have those who are very active on Facebook. I keep encouraging them to post and advertise because it's only when you put in the work that you'll actually get the product.
Yeah, that's true. Because one of the things that we've kind of identified with, I guess, entrepreneurs, and I'm going to say entrepreneur now because you're building an entity, right? It's a program now, but maybe at some point you'd like to see it registered, you'd like to see it as an actual, company that has staff in different departments and stuff like that. And one of the things that we've been talking about was how you are a brilliant teacher. You're innovative, clearly, to have come up, with the solution that you've come up with. And there's the phase one. Yeah, okay, right, right? Because you are the founder.
I'm also sourcing clients.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you get to phase two, of which is now we're building towards your success. I get it. Phase one again, you have phase two, go, okay, then identifying your strengths, right? Your strengths in tutoring, your strengths in marketing, and then seeing what is it that I need, and then finding people to fill those gaps. So, okay, I may be good at certain things, but maybe dating not so much. And then it's also saying, that as good as, the skills how dating, then able fumana batho ba tlatsa di-gap tseno. And I think a great opportunity. And I think a great opportunity ke ha ona tjena batho ba unemployed. My first job was not an actual paid job. Like, I volunteered for a long time before I could actually get a paid job, right? So finding people in sales, right, who are willing to say, okay, to just solely focus on sales, because then you start seeing, okay, in 2016 we had tutors only. When you measure the growth of your program, or in 2016 we had tutors only. 2021, 2022, we have tutors now, we have a marketing team now, we have a digital strategy team now, we have, now you start seeing the different, players in this thing that you're building. And I think that will be a valuable thing for you to start thinking about now. Okay, the section is away from tutoring, but that will build this thing that we're doing, and then identifying people who will be able to fill those roles. And I think this is so exciting. Like, it's so exciting because I'm already starting to see it.
Really thinking ahead. Which is like, it's very exciting. Every day it's like something new.
Yeah.
Like this other time, I didn't even realize that we needed a program profile at first.
Yes.
Someone was, yeah, I wanted trying to say, okay, so you're tutoring, right? Okay, send me your program profile. And I was like, program profile?
Leaking.
Right? I'm like, what's that? And then I asked my little sister, and she was like, oh, I know somebody who's very good with graphics. That person can fix. Yeah, I didn't know that I needed such people, like a graphic designer, but like I say, as the program grows, we're going to have such people.
And I think we have the Entrepreneurship Toolkit. Some of them are for like initiatives and programs and stuff like that, but on yali.state.gov. So those toolkits help you build your idea, right? And you are like way past the idea phase. But what it enables you to do is okay, vision ya how What's the vision of this thing that you're doing? What are the goals and the objectives of what you're doing? What are the activities that you need to be engaging in order to reach, to achieve the goals? And then it now was a little timeline. Okay, so between now and let's say in the next 6 months, what do you want to have achieved? And then it'll also say what type of structure do you need to have built in order to reach these goals that you want to reach. So it helps you now start thinking about, okay, I need a team, but what does this team comprise of, right? Now you start writing it down, and it's just a plan, right? But isn't that where all magic starts, right? It starts with a plan that's concrete, that's written down. And I'll send the link actually in the comment section for the toolkit, it's in Anna, because I've literally seen people, some of which you have seen, who come to the American corner and they just have merely an idea, right? But register business, but figure out, okay, how am I going to get clients? And some of them are doing amazing things right now, as you are. I mean, I started interacting with you at the American corner in like 2018, 2019. And look at you now, So I think we definitely need to have more of these conversations. And I needed you to be part of this conversation because I remember how intentional you were about coming here. When I can talk entrepreneurship, you were here. You were learning about, how to manage finances in Ing. You were learning all these things. And I'm like, she's definitely going to go far in life because you know these things, right?
We're not supposed to limit ourselves. Just because you are a professional teacher doesn't mean you have to be just Yeah.
This is true. We have another question. Actually, let me just go through the comment section to hear what our viewers are saying. So Morosi Mokhadi says, I love this, heart emoticons with the face. And then Ma George Smith also, yes, girl. Maneo Rama Sikele says, I'm very proud of you, girlfriend. May God take you to greater heights. And Rose Maleme says, proud of you, friend. Keep up the good work. Yay, that is so sweet.
So Rose Maleme is actually the friend I was talking about. She's like the one actually helping me with everything.
Rose Maleme, congratulations to you too. Thank you for tuning in. And we're wishing you guys a lot of success. So is there anything in our conversation that you think we missed out? Maybe that we didn't address that you wanted to address today?
The caliber of students we work with. You mentioned that we work with students with special needs. Actually, we work with students with special learning needs.
I see.
Yeah. Those students who are ridiculed in mainstream schools, those students who are given like labels, discriminalized and everything. These are the students that we are accommodating. Students with dyslexia, students that's the disability to actually read and coordinate words or sequence words properly. We work with students with dysgraphia. These are students who are struggling with writing. We accommodate students with dyscalculia. These are students who are struggling with arithmetics. And students with ADHD, attention deficit disorder. So we are also accommodating students with learning needs, special learning needs. Those students who are not properly accommodated in their schools. Those students, there are students who are they do not lack intellectually. They just have that learning disability, which is like in their way of learning.
And they maybe require more time with the teacher that they're not able to get in a
Yeah,
conventional school setting.
yeah, and it's not like easy for a teacher to like accommodate, like I said, maybe 50 students and also have the time within their lesson plan to accommodate this learner. Yeah. So those are the learners that we are accommodating. Yeah. So
And
if
how does
the
that
parent,
been?
that's
That's your passion. You're like, yes.
it. I love those students who need attention. Those are like my children. Yeah,
That's
what
wonderful.
I've noticed is that they are often misunderstood.
Mm,
Yeah. If you got a student who cannot read like a simple word, you're like, this student like lacks intellectually, but then give that child time. That's what we are doing here at Tutor Tutorials. We are trying to see that if this child has been doing grade 3 for maybe 2 years, what's the problem? And addressing those problems.
That's amazing. Lebohang Charles Makiba says, what an amazing move. This is really one of those brilliant ideas. It is really motivating to realize there are educators out there willing to bring about a transformation in this career. Mahadi Dinyuluha says, wow, my friend, I am very proud. And then Grace Monique says, this is an amazing interaction. It is high time we learn to live with the pandemic as we maintain and improve education. And then Rose Maleme says, appreciated at Pas Maseru. Thank you. Wow, because high school, there was maybe Maseru Mona Hunonale St. Benedict that I was aware of, and maybe one or two more schools that actually accommodated, children with physical disabilities. But
we have Abia High School too.
Yeah, but have the learning disability. But learning.
Let me mention that I'm a product of Abia High School.
And I mean, they're doing a great job to have, to have a school because it's not all of them, and they're not that many.
Yeah, they're not many, but the fact that I think that's where I saw that we can actually, inclusive education can actually work. Like it needs to work.
And I think now you're bridging that thing out. Okay, maybe hey, how we won't have, or right now we won't have the infrastructure re accommodate batho ba nang le special bana ba nang le special needs dikolong. But how now the technology, there's no excuse, right?
Yeah,
because you need a device and you need access to the internet. We're not talking about ramps. We're not talking about the type of infrastructure that you would need, millions and millions of rents in order to set up so children have access to education. Now we're talking basic, simple devices that can, So I really wish you well in your endeavors. And as you know, when American Konamuna, we're always here to brainstorm, to talk about big ideas. There's the Nelson Mandela Washington Fellowship. Hannah Unwinte, the regional learning center one?
Yeah, I did.
You did that one.
I did.
You did. So you're an alumni. So you need to.
I'm not. I actually got declined. I didn't get in. I just applied.
Apply a hack.
I'm going to like the part. That's the part where I got stuck because I'm doing so many things right now. So for that part, I have to actually sit down and write. But I am applying.
Because you have been able to, like, you can measure. I mean, some of the things that they want to know is how have you measured, success in the initiative or in the business or in the organization. And in your case, it's a program. And you can say, like, I started maybe and now we have all these tutors. Now we have so many, you actually have, you can demonstrate you've been doing so well. So
Unlike in 2018 or 19 when I was applying, I didn't have much then.
That's why I'm saying get it now.
I learned a lot from it.
Oh my God. No, we've been busy. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been such a great chat, and we will continue our conversation about book canvas. Lidi toolkit. I'm actually going to post those toolkits in fact, Kitadi, post that in the comment section now. At the moment we finish our chat, do you have any final words for our viewers?
Well,
maybe educators, kids, parents, and where can they find you if they want to reach out to you?
Okay, and they can reach me on my numbers. That is my 50, that's 50, 29 72 34. 50 29 72 34. And they can also get me on Facebook. I'm Ceci Ceci. They can get me on Twitter. I'm Ceci M. They can get me on Instagram. Still Ceci M.
And
So
Ceci M, CECYM.
CECYM. Okay, so to the learners, I would like to say, guys, please take advantage of the technology disposal that is in front of you. The phones that you guys have, that's like all you need to actually get all the knowledge that there's so much information on the internet. And we here at the program can help you actually utilize that information to your benefit. And to the parents, I can say, please, you need to start trusting us with your children. Bring your children to us. Test us. That's what I'm saying. Test us. Give us like a week with your child.
And you'll see the difference.
The difference.
Again, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you to our viewers for sitting in with us for this really incredible chat, for laughing with us, for getting educated on online education. And we will see you next time on our virtual program again. Litseoane Mokaloba, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's really been an honor.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay.